let's talk about what we do know then, Hink. You tell me, you and Marcus tell me, and Willie too, if you want to chime in. Y'all tell me what's the pivotal things that a child up until the age of 3, why do they need their father? What is the things that the father is bringing to the equation at the age of up until 3?
So in the early stages of childhood, in the early development, so they get emotional security and attachment. The child, and when you involve with their father, they got high levels of confidence, resilience, and self-regulation, stronger ability to cope with stress in new environments, and also cultural affirmations and identity centered around the storytelling and protection of what their father does, which lays the groundwork for how they move throughout life. I intentionally would not let my daughter see certain images, because you ever seen that the brown dog, or the test with they take the black kids and then the white kids, and they give them a doll and they assign character traits to them.
Yeah.
Based off of understanding of that, I did my damnedest to make sure my kids have a positive self-image, free, and they real young still. But these are things I'm instilling in them to create a basis for how they move through life.
So everything you
at
just
2 years old, that's not coming into play.
Everything you listed, are we saying all men are providing this for their kids? This is just innately we as a man being present.
No, I'm not saying that.
I would say the first few characteristics that he
look, I know one of the things that I go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying the first few characteristics that he mentioned, I think it would be absolutely useful. Essential, probably. It depends on what type of what you
at the age of 2
success as, right? Depends on what your version of success is. It's the foundation. That's their first learning. That's their first learning experience.
So here's my point. I'm sorry, Trey. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, because now I would say ideal. I would say is it absolutely essential for survival? No, but if you want the optimal opportunity for a well-rounded individual, then I would say it's something you should do.
So look, this is a picture of since my kids was babies, right? I was changing 3 diapers a day all day, like it was nothing, right? So like when it comes to like I don't want nobody to think that like, oh, you're not willing to sacrifice or doing like I was in a little house with drop my kids off, just me by myself before I even met my girl, like drop my kids off, me by myself with my kids, changing diapers all day, feeding them, all that type of stuff. I never even needed a baby bag. Keep your stuff. I got clothes here. I got all of that. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, he's saying just walk out on your kids. I'm not saying that, but this reminds me of a situation where it's like if you ask a guy like, what if your girl ever cheated on you? And you like, my girl would never cheat on me.
Right.
Like that's not, I would never answer like that, even though of course I'm confident that my woman would never do that. However, I'm not going to say my girl wouldn't cheat on me in a million years, but what if she do? She wouldn't do it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take that position.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
It's kind of like, yeah. But look here, let me add to what y'all was saying. So I taught my son how to pee standing up. That's a thing that's critical in his life. I mean, what the fuck y'all want your son to do? He didn't sit down until he gets to 4 or 5 years old? Hell no.
2 things. First of all, ain't nothing wrong.
She couldn't teach him that.
First of all, ain't nothing wrong with peeing sitting down. We keep on talking this.
Oh, okay.
You tell me that is. Okay,
that's
cool. Y'all tell me.
Real dope. You talking about testing your masculinity?
Listen to what I'm asking y'all. Y'all tell me one masculine thing it is about peeing standing up. What does it do for you psychologically? Tell me.
No, Will's right, because medically, you technically don't get a good drain standing up.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that. I'm not gonna get into that. Look here. There was one critical thing. I had to teach my son how to wipe his goddamn ass.
Yeah.
That was another thing I had to teach him. So
listen,
those are critical moments in his life. When my son took a fall, he goes scraping his knee. Right. You know what his mama gonna do? His mom, oh, poor baby. No, get your ass up. You fine. Get your ass up. Let's go.
I think things like this aren't necessary.
My son needed instruction. He got them instruction. He heard that deep voice. He knew to go. Mama had to tell him about 3 or 4 times, and then he still might not even do it. No, we're not gonna do that. No. So that's all that structure that I had to make sure I teach my son at an early age. So this won't be a problem later on down the line. So you sit there saying that a father is not critical in the first 3 years? I can't agree with that.
I can identify the kids in my daughter's class that did not have fathers present by the way they act, and they had no regulation. Very clear.
Understandable.
Very clear.
Understandable. But like Real Dope was saying, it's optimal for you to have both parents. Nobody
we can agree to that.
What'd you say?
I said we can agree to that.
Right. Nobody is advocating for a child to not have one of their parents. It's optimal for the kids to have both parents. But the necessity, the necessity is for them to have their mother. A woman can feed a child if there's no food present. We cannot.
The way you utilizing necessity, I get it. We technically could use infamil, but that's beyond the point.
No.
The point I'm making,
infamil, that's a food source, right?
A woman's body won't produce milk if she's not nourished.
The mother is the food. As long as she has enough
nutrients
in her body.
I mean, that's
not all women are able to nurse, though.
Oh, not all women are
able to do that. So now you got. What if you?
That's a bad faith argument.
It's a possibility.
That's a bad faith argument, Hink, because most women can. So we're
not a bad faith argument because not all women can nurse.
Some women can't.
That's like all fathers need to be there.
So we got 990. So there's 1,000 women, Hink, and 998 of them can nurse. You're going to say that because we're not going to put nursing station in because we don't want to hurt the feelings of the two that can't. Like the average woman can nurse, but to Will's point, if there's no food in the house, if she has no nourishment, her body's not going to create that milk by itself.
But that's why I said if she has enough nourishments in her.
Well, that defeats the part of saying
she's going to eventually go dry. She's not going to be able to just keep producing food if she's not eating as well. But what I'm saying is a woman is dire because even if there is food, though, Willie, but there's not food for a baby, right? We can't just feed a baby mashed potatoes.
Right, but so we have to realize though that's not reality right now. Reality is that we can go get infamil right now. The reality is that you could go have your son's mother pump if she can send bottles with him.
And understandable. And I'm glad you said what the reality is, right? Because the reality is we have a system that's against men. I don't care that more men are getting custody now than they
no argument there. No argument. I don't have argument.
I don't care that you can pull out a stat to say men who fight for custody. First of all, there's a lot of nuance as to why a lot of men don't fight for custody.
It's not even nuance. They just can't afford to. That's simple. It's not even a nuanced argument. They just can't afford to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the average guy knows that when you fight for custody, first of all, there's a guardian lighting attorney that you have to hire. That's the attorney that represents the kid or kids.
And reports to the Attorney General's office for child support.
At a minimum, those attorneys are $5,000 to $10,000. On average, they're $10,000 to $15,000. The average Joe guy cannot go work a part-time job like Hink is saying because the part-time job would just pay for the guardian and lighting attorney. It won't even scratch your attorney. The average child support case, when you're fighting for custody, I'm not talking about when you're just going to present a case and maybe amicably y'all decide who's the better parent. I'm talking about when you're fighting. Bro, it's going to cost anywhere between $75,000 to $150,000. Now, if y'all don't know those numbers to be true, it's because y'all don't know nothing about fighting for custody. Y'all don't know how dire it is. And people are just talking because it's just like, oh, we can fight for custody. Yeah, when men win custody, it's a lot of times because the mothers ain't shit. Because if the mother is competent, if the mother is just as good of a parent as you are, you're not going to have an easy battle at getting custody from that woman. She will have to be unfit. Again, we don't know the details, and y'all haven't been through the process, most of y'all. So y'all will just talk, and don't let the guy have a little bit of money. If he has money, they do this thing called discovery, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what discovery is, it's when you have to turn over all your information. When I say all, I'm talking about your phone records, cell phone records, yes. 2 years of cell phone records. You have to turn over 2 years of bank accounts. You have to tell them about your life insurance policies, your 401ks, your IRAs, your Roths. You have to tell them about any investment accounts you have, any real estate you own, any vehicles you own, any cash on hand that you have. You have to disclose every bit of information that you have. And when that other attorney, that opposing attorney, whether it's the woman or the guy's attorney, it don't matter. When they see that that person has some money, they drag their feet on everything. They fight everything. They try to make the bad. They don't want a speedy trial. No, they want the trial to take a year. Why? Because it's draining you. The more money you have to pay, eventually you're going to quit. And most dudes quit because it costs too much money to fight. They just can't financially afford it. So for all of y'all who think you could just go to court, trust me, if you're going to court, it's probably because you're poor and she's poor. Because I guarantee you, if you're not poor and she is poor, the last thing you really want to do is go to court with her. You want to try to strong arm her outside of the courtroom. You want to try to bribe her outside of the courtroom. You don't want to take that battle into a courtroom. You definitely don't want her to get no damn attorney because you're going to end up quitting.
You're talking about in the midst of a divorce. Most of these kids are born not battle.
I don't care if you got divorce or not.
But see, that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about their marriage, that should have been settled during the divorce.
A custody battle, not a marriage.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Most of these kids was born out of wedlock. Most of these kids, they're not born within a marriage, right? So some of those things you don't have to do in a custody situation.
What don't you have to do?
Yeah, what don't you have to do?
I didn't have. Look. When you talking about presenting phone records, I didn't have to do all that doing no custody.
That depends on how good. That depends on how good her lawyer is.
No. Did you have an attorney here?
Yes.
Did she have an attorney?
Yeah. Yes.
Did her attorney request discovery?
Yes.
I didn't have to. The state must have different laws, then, sir. That's the only way you got around that.
Did you not hear when I say, Will? I said you need to learn your family court laws. Right. If you know you're about to go through it, or the situations arising, you need to learn your family court laws. So no, I don't have to give up no phone record. Only thing I had to do.
My state does. Okay. I had to furnish all that information.
Hank, what did you have to do? What did you have to give up, Hank?
Hold on.
I had to provide.
So my bad, Hank.
I had to provide.
That's
I didn't even say anything.
No. What you said.
How was it bad faith? I didn't say anything.
I'll explain it to you. You said that. See, you have to know your laws.